First of all, let me state that I had some sort of inklings that this was in the wind. I had a conversation with some folks maybe a year or so ago, and they told me that this is a possibility that this might be coming to fruition. Well, let me make the point here. We have a new tourism minister, seeing that Carnival has walked away, and now Holland America is walking away. You'll be aware that they both are under the same umbrella, because a lot of people don't realize that Holland America and Carnival are owned by the same companies. Carnival own about 6 or 7 cruise lines. But I'm saying here that we have a new tourism minister, and this will afford him the opportunity to go into the marketplace to secure a ship, possibly for St. George and Hamilton in the next 2 years. You'll be aware that the cruise principals usually make their schedules up a year in advance, and I believe this is an opportunity for the new minister to step up to the plate with the Minister of Transport, and there's a possibility that they can form an alliance and will be beneficial for Bermuda all around.
Lots of people have opinions about why the cruise lines are dropping out of the ships, out of Bermuda's, dropping Bermuda out of their itinerary. Are there concerns in your mind that need to be fixed before the tourism and transport minister can really latch on to another cruise ship to come to Bermuda?
Well, what the two ministers need to do is to get together and strategize. There has to be some reasons why these principals are dropping Bermuda, because I believe Bermuda is still a premier destination, and it's up to the two ministers to get together and convince the principals that Bermuda is still a viable product.
We've had some weeks that have passed since the last government town hall meeting concerning the study done on the cut in St. George's and the passage coming into the Hamilton Harbor. Do you know of any advancements of what's come out of business?
Well, we have had a few public meetings with the business community, not public, speaking to that specific issue. I am aware that there was a group that met with government ministries, not the minister per se, last week, and there was some discussions held. Now, we, the Corporation of St. George, will be having a public meeting on the 8th of December. I have asked 3 people to make presentations to the public in regards to the way forward, and it is my hope that at that meeting we will come to some sort of a consensus on the way forward. I had the opportunity to speak today to the Summerfield Academy. I would say the average age would be about 9 to 10 years old. And these young people had some very interesting conversations with me, and there were some very interesting questions that were asked. And it is, in my opinion, something that needs to be brought to a resolution. And I continue to tell people that I don't say the word W, I say modifications. And I believe that the St. George's community have to determine whether we want a viable business community or if we do not. So some sort of decision needs to be made. We, the corporation, are only the facilitators of the discussions, and it is hoped that we can get some sort of a resolution at that meeting on the 8th of December.
How important is it to modify the cut?
Well, I would say that in the position that I am in at this particular time, I receive all sorts of comments that we, meaning the corporation, only look out for the business community. But I would say here that the business community causes the community to be a community. If you only want residents and residencies, then we would have to do all of our shopping in the other way and the other parts of the island. I then say that we hear about Shop Bermuda. I would like to encourage the business community with the resident community to shop St. George. I believe that we have a number of businesses here that people don't realize, understanding that we do have an abundance of t-shirts and souvenirs. But you will be aware that during the commerce hours, most of the foot traffic in St. George is visitors. And I'm just hopeful that no more businesses close, and encouraging businesses to come to the town of St. George, because I believe that this is the new frontier. It's a renaissance just waiting to happen, and it is my hope that the community of St. George, the businesses and the residents, understand that we need one another.
There's a certain person that has put out their ideas on an option other than the modification of the cut. Is it a viable option, and if not, are there any other options that you
Well, there are a number of other options that have been put forward, and my opinion is that I don't speak to other people's opinions, and no offense meant to yourself. The question is, if you believe that it is viable, I would then say that you need to speak with those people and have a conversation and determine where they want to go. As I said to you, on the 8th, it is hoped that 3 individuals will have the opportunity to make their presentation to the public, and then we will determine where the majority of support is, and we will go forward from there. As the mayor of the town of St. George, prior to being afforded the opportunity to be in the position that I'm in, I would say that I was very aggressive and very abrasive. And now, in the position that I'm in, I have to then, what we would say, use some diplomacy, and in an attempt to talk with the government ministers in a diplomatic manner to bring a resolution to this particular issue. But I can say that we need to have a designated ship in the town of St. George.
You expressed your desire to see a resolution to this matter after the December 8th meeting. There's 2 ways it can go. You can get support for the modification, or you can have opposition to the modification. What are the plans either way?
Well, let me say this here. Next year, with the understanding that the V&D will be going directly to Hamilton, and I will make the point here, last year, we had a meeting with the business people, and I, as the mayor, asked if the business community would support allowing the ship to go directly to Hamilton. It was determined that we would attempt to try the tendering. Having had the opportunity with my wife to operate the concession stand at Tobacco Bay, I know what the weather can be like on the northern side of the island. Being the mayor, and the business community determining that they wanted to try the tendering, we so did. That particular aspect has proven unsuccessful. I believe last year there was something like 9 trips that were missed, and I believe this year it's something like 13 that were missed. And with the ship going directly to Hamilton, it is my belief that the community of St. George will be more successful from the economic aspects, having the visitors all coming back to St. George rather than going out of St. George.
Thank you very much for your time.
And I thank you very much for the opportunity.